Hello everyone and welcome. I am your host Captain Awesomeness, and today we're gonna do a very different video. I'm not going to be taking you guys to a different town to go visit. I'm not taking you on a go-karting trip, none of that. So what's happening is that my sweet little nephew Shahryar in Pakistan asked me, Uncle Harris, why don't you do me a favor and show me how you edit your videos? So that had me thinking, I'm sure there are very many of you out there who would like to know the same thing. So what I'm going to do is show you how I edit my videos as I get done recording them. And then I will also show you some different tips and tricks that I use in particular, like what apps I use, what I do in them, all that good stuff in short. So first and foremost, let me just say this before I start. You gotta have a lot of patience in editing your videos. If not, you will get frustrated. You will not make a good, presentable, quality video, and it can be bothersome for yourself later on when you upload and you're like, oh man, I wish I did this, I had done that. So having said that, let me also put this out to you. I am not a premium content creator. I am nothing like it. I don't have that kind of equipment for it, the lighting setup, all of the stuff that goes along with it. I don't have a video editor person doing all my videos for me. It's all done by me in as, I guess, efficient or simple a method as possible. So with all that out of the way, let's just talk about all the stuff I use. So actually, I forgot. Let me also mention, right now I'm using an app called OBS Studio, which is right here where my mouse is. And this is what I'm using to record myself and my desktop at the same time for you all to see. That's not necessary for video editing. All right, so let's go into video editing itself. I use two apps in particular to do all of my videos. One is, as you can see right here, Vegas Pro 13.0. Now this is an older version of Vegas Pro, about 5 to 6 years old. The latest one out there is version 18. I'm using this only because, you know what? I don't need the latest and greatest of everything out there. And this gives me all the tools that I will need in particular to edit the videos, the tad bit that I do with them. And the other app that I also use is Microsoft's Video Editor. So we're gonna do this one by one, and I'll show you all the different things I do with both of them. In the meantime, may I also mention, I'm gonna open Google Chrome here real quick. Let's expand this. And I am going to go into YouTube. The reason being is that in YouTube, I use a feature from them that really helps me out with the video, which I will get to later on, but I really need to show you this. So you go on YouTube, you're here, you click on your videos, it'll take you to this creator studio that YouTube has for you. You see all this, the list of videos here. And then you go down here into audio library. In audio library, what you have is a library, literally, of free music available to you that is copyright free. This way, you don't have to worry about somebody hitting you up for a copyright strike or making a claim on your video for monetary purposes. All that jazz is gone. This just helps you with that. You don't have to deal with the headaches at all. So let's minimize that and let's go right into our first app, Vegas Pro 13.0. So as it launches, let me also mention that there are some settings that you need to go into. I already have them here, but you know what? The first time this launches, a lot of folks don't have that availability for them. I'm gonna close this out real quick. Just start as if we're new. All right, so now you go into File, you go into New, and here, you just wanna make sure that your frame rate shows 59.940 double NTSC and your width and height is 1920 by 1080p. This thing is basically telling the program that you want your videos to be rendered in 1080p at 60 FPS. 60 FPS is really important because of the kinds of details you get. This is the minimum requirement, by the way, because of course I can do 4K, 8K, all that stuff, but I feel that for my particular videos, I don't need to do all that. So this is the minimum setting you need. Once you have all this, just make sure you hit start all projects with these settings. And the idea behind that is that you're basically telling Vegas Pro that every time it launches from now on, you want to make sure that all of your videos are rendered in 1080p and with 60 FPS. So now we have our blank slate here, and there are a bunch of features here that you will use and not use for that matter. So I have basically all these different empty boxes. Here's a blank screen for now. This particular area is where you can put in pictures and do some stuff with them, even videos for that matter. I don't use this feature at all because I'm still trying to figure it out, so I usually have it covered up. And instead, all I use is this little area for my project files, this area to actually look at the video, and this area where my videos are going to be for me to edit. So let's put in some videos. I am going to go into a sample here for y'all. So pictures, video, projects. All right, yep, here. I have an old video of me ranting. So as you saw, I put the video right here and then I took it down here. As soon as I do, I get a prompt from Vegas Pro that asks me if I want to set my project video settings to match this video. Always hit no. And why I'm saying that is because if you hit yes, it will look at what settings that this particular video was recorded in, and it may be in 1080 at maybe 30 frames a second. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that all of your settings for when you are rendering these videos are set to the 1080 at 60 FPS. So in order to keep those settings, you hit no. So video gets uploaded here. Now what do? Well, you see this little flashy cursor right here? I can move this around and kind of look at my video a little bit just to see, okay, you know what, there's all this empty stuff where I'm not doing anything, saying anything. So I want to cut that out, right? And in order to cut that out, I have to use this tool right here called Split Trim Tool. You do this and you click right here, and guess what? It cuts out both the video and the associated audio with it. But let's say that I don't want to cut the audio portion out. I just simply want to, I don't know, I just simply want to, only cut the audio or video part out. So down here is where my mouse is. You want to make sure you have these 4 buttons clicked. What happens here is that when you do that, now it'll only cut out the video portion and leave the audio uncut. So let's just try it and you'll see what happens. So I'll click on that portion that I split out, I delete. Now the old part of the audio is still there. So you can literally hear, but you cannot see. And you cannot see because, well, it only cut that out. And vice versa. If you only want to cut the audio version out, you have that as available as well. Now, that's what I do in order to kind of cut things in and out. And the other thing I like to do, and you may have seen this before, so let's actually just edit this part out. All right, so here, I'm gonna edit this particular portion out, like just split it out, cut the audio and the video. I will go back in a normal edit. I will click these 2 here, delete, and then I will drag this whole video right to the start. Sometimes this cursor gets in the way of it, so I'll move it away. All right. Now that I've done that, you may have also noticed that I do transitions. The way to do that is take your mouse over to the top left corner of the video and you'll see it say fade offset. So this is what I use. I usually try to put in a 1-second offset, and in order to facilitate that, you want to zoom into the actual video itself, and you use this little deal here on your mouse, the scroll button, and you kind of zoom in until you are able to get more accuracy to get into the 1-second mark. So here, see that? I've got it into the 1-second mark, and this is what it'll look like when I start it. All right, guys. So that's the effect that this puts in there for you. Let's say I also want to put in a picture or a video, whatever the case may be. So here again, I'll put my Captain Awesomeness logo piece here. Now, for whatever reason, this animated portion of the video also has an audio associated with it, but there's nothing in there, right? So I'll delete that out, and I'll take this and drag it, say, somewhere here. I drag that in there, and because it's for such a short stint, I want to extend for how long it stays in there. So I wait for my mouse to look like this and show trim event end, and you're gonna expand that. And as I expand it, again, within this also, I can take it down into transitioning for 1 second or however long I want. So I'm gonna do it for 1 second here. Just kind of gotta do a little bit more of a zoom in so we can get it accurate. Here we go. Oh, still nothing. So let's work a little bit more on zooming that in just accurate for you to see what will happen. All right, so there we go, 1 second mark. All right, so now just watch what it'll do. The video started up
me
and
becoming eligible for this year's sprint race that happened.
so the idea is that you can get an inset into a picture and then you can continue on. Pretty simple to do. So what if you want to add background music? Well, let's go over that as well. I'm gonna delete that out. So I downloaded this track from the YouTube page, like I mentioned. I'll drag that into my little project area and bring it down into where my editing area is. And I'll just make sure that it's all the way in there. And here you can toggle the sound of it, where it transitions, all that stuff. So same thing like in the deal with the transitions I did for the video. Here, just watch, I'll put it into a 1 second time frame. And then of course, this is going to play at full volume. So you have this volume setting here, and then this right here. I like to kind of toggle with this here. And what I'll do with it is that I'll say, okay, let me put it at 14.7, minus 14.7 dB, or 14.1. And what happens here is that it will give you the ability to hear the music, but not to the point of where you feel distracted. And let's just try it out and you'll see what that sounds like.
All right, guys, we gotta talk.
See that? So that is what I usually do, is I just insert it in the background and you can hear it a little bit. You can also splice and dice it just like you can with the video. And when you're done with it all, you can go, okay, Vegas Pro, I am done with this, but I'm gonna save my project. So I always hit save and it'll say untitled. I'll just save it as whatever, like I already have here, and just hit save. What this does is say computer crashes or turns off, at least you have your project saved and all that hard work doesn't go away. But once I'm done with that and I have everything finalized the way I do, I will go back into file, hit render as, and when I hit render as, it'll ask you for different formats and all that stuff. What I do is I try to tell it to output it to this Sony XAVC, XAVCS, and you want it in an MP4 format. And then I go all the way down under its options into XAVC S long 1920 by 1080 at 59.94p. So that's again the HD in 60 FPS that it will output it to. Now I will also click on this stretch video to to fill it out. Like, don't letterbox it. There's always these letterboxes like black lines under and over the video. I don't like to mess with that. So that's what that's for. Everything else is kind of clicked off, and then you just hit render and it takes its time. It'll once it's done with it, it'll say, okay, I'm done with it. You open the folder, that's where your file is, and then you are ready to upload it. I'm just gonna hit cancel because I really don't need to do this right now. All right, so that's this part. It's pretty simple. This is all I really use on Vegas Pro 13. Now, what do I use Microsoft's video editor for? That's where I will use that app to actually put in text into my videos. Some of them you've seen that on, some of them I just don't even bother. So I am going to actually remove this for you guys so you see it as a blank slate. This is what it looks like when you launch the app. You hit new video project and I'll ask you to name it. I usually skip that, it's not necessary. And just like in Vegas, I will take that file and put it in this little project library deal here. And once it's there, then you can drag it into these little tiles in the bottom. I'll put it right here and I'll add my text. Say if I want to add it at the 1 minute mark, right? So I'll take it all the way to 1 minute, as close I can to it accurately. There we go. And then you can use this little deal here to kind of really go into the 1 second mark. And then here I'll just say LMB LMBO. And you see that it shows that it's in there for, however long. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit just so that it's there for a little bit longer. And there's different options you can have it show up as. You can have it show up as that, and you can have it show up in the center or in the side or whatever the case is, however you think that it looks good. I like to also use adventure because it kind of looks a little bit more flashy. See that? So I think that's pretty good. Once I think it looks good to me, I hit done, and you can go into that 1 second mark just for your own viewing pleasure and see what it looks like. So let's just go real quick down into just prior to it showing up.
And time I have had nothing but fun. The fact that
So I usually put in text before I go into Vegas 13.0 because, again, I want to make sure that all my text editing is done in this, and then I put it into Vegas Pro where all of the major work has to be done. This is just really for entering text. So I'll hit finish video, and when I hit finish video, it'll ask me how I want to save this. You always want to save it as 1080p. It gives you some other options if you want, and that's up to you. So, and it tells you what this is for. I hit export, and it'll ask you what folder you want to put it in. You do that, and then you take this edited video into Vegas Pro and work on. So that's the simplest and truly put the easiest way that I have figured out how to do video editing. I mean, in short, this is exactly what I do every time I have a video recording that I need to work on. There's nothing more significant than that I do. I just make sure that I do my fade-ins and fade-outs in my audio and video settings. I just make sure that I cut out any blank spaces. I cut out portions where I may have made a mistake in the way I pronounce what I'm saying, as I also did in this recording, by the way. And you see that where I'll have my hands here for 1 second, and then all of a sudden in the very next frame I have my hands here, and that's because I cut a portion in between out there. So now that I'm done with the video, what do I do at this point? Well, I have to upload it on YouTube. So that's what we're gonna go over real quick. All right, so we are in my page and we have this in front of us. What do? We go into create, we go into upload videos, and it will give you the option of dragging or dropping or uploading video manually. So let's, for this purpose, go into select files. I'll go into desktop, and I created a video by the name of Untitled, just a random name, right? You click on that and it starts its upload process. Now it'll take you through some other stuff. So it'll ask you what the title needs to be. I'll just say the title is LOL exclamation mark. Here in the description, what I use description for is chaptering my videos. So that's like a wonderful feature on YouTube videos where you don't have to worry about somebody needing to go to watch through the whole video just to get to the section that they want to particularly watch. You just set them up as chapters. You can do this either manually here in this description box, or now YouTube gives you the option of automatically chaptering your videos. The automatic chaptering feature, in my opinion, doesn't really work that well. I think that it's a little bit inaccurate, so I just skip it altogether. So here's what I do. I will put 000, that's basically the beginning of the video, and I'll say intro, and then on the 1 minute mark it'll be blah, and then on the 2 minute mark it'll be zay. All right, so blah blah blah, whatever. And the thing is, once you do this, you are then going to go into whether you want to upload a thumbnail in order to introduce your video. That's up to you, really. I like to do it sometimes I don't. It just depends on the mood. Just make sure that whatever picture you put in as a thumbnail cannot be more than 2 megabytes, otherwise it won't take it. Playlist, if you have any playlists, I sometimes do, sometimes not. So you'll see that I have a lot of different playlists that I can go with. Then whether it needs to be made for kids or not. The thing is, I set it as not made for kids because in Made for Kids, it takes away the features of being able to comment or some other stuff that I don't really know about. It just takes away from being able to show your viewers the video. And plus, I don't really post anything crazy that only adults will watch. So that's why I put it in not Made for Kids, just for the comment piece. All right. Is it paid promotion? I don't really have any sponsors, so I don't worry about that. Automatic chaptering, like I told you, I just take that out. If you want to add tags, I always at least add Captain Awesomeness in here, and that's just if people want to find you and they misspell something, I don't know, just a way for people to find you. So then you go into video. I think that for captioning it's important. Not everybody is going to be able to hear or whatever, like they want to watch a video and all they want to see is what the guy's saying, so you just do the caption piece. I usually put it in video English language, and then I will click on the very last option that, FCC has granted an exemption and all that crap, and I don't know what that means, but that's the only way I can get captioning on my videos. Recording date, I'll put in the recording date. See, I will say it was today the 24th, and then in video location, I'll put in Strongsville, for example. That's where I'm from, so it'll give you that option. There you are, you have that. So here on allow embedding, It's up to you if you want to or not. I'm okay with this. And you publish the subscription feeds. That means that you notify subscribers when this video's up. And lastly, allow people to sample this content. I don't like that. I don't want people to sample my content. If you want people to do yours, that's up to you. Then that's about it. And then all the other options here, I leave it in the category of people and blogs, and then comments and ratings. I say allow all comments because I want to see what people are saying, and then based off of my own mood, I will either delete them or whatever the case may be. All right, so then I hit next, and then it gives you all this option of adding end screens. And the end screen portion has to do with if you want people at the end of the video to get certain options. For example, I will say, okay, just put in a video and a playlist. Or let's not do that. Instead, let's do one video, one playlist, one subscribe. So YouTube will tell you that, hey, you know what? It'll figure out what the best video is for somebody to see at the end of your video. It's up to you if you want to leave it at that, or, you know, if you want to be like me where you want your viewers to know which video in particular you want them to watch. This is the way to do that. And if you have a playlist, you add that here. I have tons of playlists, so I can do that as well. Once you're done with all this, and add cards. Cards are basically within the video itself. If I'm talking about a previous video, I can add a link to it, and you usually see it in the top right corner of your video. That's something if you want to do, it's up to you. Then you hit next, and it'll just do some kind of copyright checks. No issues were found. And then you hit next again. Here you can either publish it immediately, make it private, or have it unlisted. That's up to you there. Or like me, with a backlog of videos that I'm dealing with, I will now have it scheduled. Right now I have videos coming up all the way through the 25th of September. Of course, you'll be watching this afterwards. I'm going to set it to the 26th to release at noon. That's the default time that I have set in some of my programs, but I think in YouTube I have it set to release at 11 a.m. and then you just hit schedule. If you want to set it as a premiere where people can watch you, like some kind of big fanfare thing, that's not on me, it's on you whether we want to do that. And then you can either hit schedule if you're scheduling it, or if you want to publish it, like I said, you can just hit publish and you're done with it. And what it'll do at that point is after you click it, you'll be prompted back into your screen here. Just hit close. And if you look in content, it'll show that it is uploading this video as we speak right here. So I will actually, choose to have it showing either today or 26, whatever. At this point, that's all it is. You're done, and now your viewers will watch it whenever it's available. And that's really it. But in any case, yeah, that's what I do. And if you have any questions, please let me know, guys. This was just a quick tutorial. And do me a favor, guys. Please hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe. Please comment. And please share the word of this channel to everyone. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.